bonding? Third and final time, anyone wish to speak about the bonding? All right, seeing none, I will
Umir gave me the thumbs up, and Eric and Nadal. Wow, you got the whole IT team here. Overtime. I'm just kidding. All right, Mr. Clerk, we're all set. I would like to call to order the special meeting of the Common Council, April 26, 2023, the time 6:36 p.m. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderpersons Dyson. Here. Ayalon. Here. Catanzaro.
Here.
Costa. Here. Hargraves. Here. Malinowski. Here. Ortiz Luna. Here. Clerk of the City of New Britain.
Mayor.
Alderman Smedley.
I make a motion to waive the reading.
Alderman Alderman Smedley, item number 1.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept.
Perhaps you can explain to the audience that don't know, is that means that the city pays taking a 70 million, or what's the portion that the city is paying? So perhaps this could be explained.
Madam Mayor.
Sure. John Healy, our underwriter, if you would like to approach the podium, you most certainly.
That is actually correct. It's a 95% reimbursement rate from the State of Connecticut Construction's office.
Madam Mayor.
Alderman Smedley.
Can you just let the record reflect Alderman Rakowski is present?
Mr. Clerk, welcome. All those in favor of accepting the report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 2.
On this item. Mr. Clerk.
Alderpersons Dyson.
Yes.
Ayalon.
Yes.
Catanzaro.
Yes.
Costa. Yes. Hargraves. Yes. Malinowski.
Yes.
Ortiz Luna. Yes. Pabon.
Yes.
Russell. Yes. Rutkowski.
Yes.
Sanchez. Smedley.
Yes.
12-0, Your Honor.
Motion carries. Thank you all very much. So from here, just to procedural wise, the school to move forward with everything. So thank you.
Serving as underwriter. Mr. O is not acting as an advisor to the municipal entity that we can depend on. Who's going to give us a really good advice?
Okay. Who would give you really good advice?
Financial advisor, and I don't think you're the financial advisor nor the mayor have any interest in getting me invested in something that will benefit them. In this case, I understand for today, for the 5.7, I see at the bottom, financial cost 200,000. Can you explain to us what's the $200,000 involved with?
Oh, the 200,000?
Yes.
Well, in order to get money, you have to pay for it. With the school project that goes on for years in order to construct, where we'd have to do bands and then bonds, the city side would be able to buy bigger purchases, do them immediately, and in turn either ban or bond
So
immediately.
does that include the fees for the underwriter, or that's separate?
It could. It could. It includes all of the fees if need be, but it's a percentage. When we go out to bond and we do an official statement, so usually when you're
If you look in the budget, you'll see it. But if you take 1% of the city's budget, we're not just put forward. However, it's
$100,000 in profits. I looked at the numbers, based on your numbers. Over the last 4 years, pay for golf course.
The, what happened with the, you have to look back.
but you also had the bonds that we still needed to pay off from the renovation of the driving range, which we
Yes.
were still using and here, which is the pavilion project in the back. So even though
Yes.
Well, you know, this is my 6th year on the Common Council, and I've heard over and over, remember that the budget is, the priority is a value statement. And I'm not sure that the golf course is at the top, you know, such at the top, it should be a special $500,000 loan for that. Let the Stanley Golf Course prove itself and use its, you know, save money and invest when it can. You know, that's what I can say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
any other questions for Mr. Perugini while he's up here? Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Any other questions on item number 3? Alderman Ayalon. I'm sorry?
Alderman
Oh, Cigar is here.
Cigar
Yep.
is here.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Okay, all those in favor of item number 3 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No for the record. Alderman Ayalon, motion carries. I have a second.
The 5,000,007.
Ortiz Luna. Pabon. Russell. Witkowski. Sanchez. Sagara. Smedley.
Yes.
Okay, we've got 12 to 1, Your Honor.
Motion
Motion.
carries.
Motion to adjourn.
Made by Alderman Smedley, seconded by Alderwoman Costa. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. The time is 6:58. Public participation for the regular meeting of the Common Council will start promptly at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to start the public participation before the regular Common Council meeting of Wednesday, April 26, 2023. The time is now 7:03. We do have one speaker, Nazara. So please state your name and address for the record.
The shelter ended March 31st. Apparently, there was no plan in action for the people after that with bad weather, heavy rain, thunder, lightning, cold nights. People are sleeping on the street still. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of someone. I care about the homeless people. And it's a very serious situation. And I choose here because there's wonderful, in a wonderful town. The people care, the police officers care, they work wonderful out there. And I just wanted to share that someone needs to take that a little serious. There's people handicapped, there's children, homeless, nowhere to go. They're sleeping on the streets. Sunday was an example of that, 9 to 12. They closed the door at 12. Pouring rain outside, and they're nowhere to funds. That's the answers we get. So, thank you for listening, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Nazara.
I'm starting a coalition because we are in trouble as senior citizens and Mount Pleasant and the other projects that we have. We have lost $500,000. 2003 housing. We're supposed to get $30,000 a year. 7 years we have not got the money. I found all a lot of papers. I went to Hartford. I went to 501c3. Anybody knows him? He started the coalition. They had a 501c3. Housing took that away from us. All the way up to 2007, they tell everybody, all the way back to Pinnacle Heights, Merrimack Road, that's where they used to have the paperwork sent for the coalition. They messed everybody out in the town. Right now, we have a big problem in there. In my apartment, 2.5 years ago, before I went to the hospital, my ceiling got a leak in it. It was from the 7th floor. It came down. My ceiling still ain't fixed. It's all black and white, and there's mildew up there. My ceiling over my sink, all the paper is coming off. You can see the plasterboard. That's not just one. All the other ones. My stove, I have a 1.5 burner. For 7 years, I've been trying to get a stove. I can't get a stove. People up on the 6th floor can't get one. They're not doing nothing for the housing authority. People are coming to our property. There's visitors property parking. They come in. Visitors come in. They look for a spot. Across the street, it says visitors. Our parking lot, there's no numbers, no nothing on there, and they're towing people's cars out. That's illegal. Speaking to everybody through IRS, through attorneys, general attorney's office when Blumenthal was there, and got all the paperwork and all the identification of what is happening to the seniors down there. It seems like they went out of business. Housing's not doing nothing. They're not cleaning or doing nothing at all for the people. We have a coalition. They're trying, we're going to put it in the paper, and we're going after them for this. I want to thank you. I know you can't do too much here, but we're going to contact HUD, and we're going to take them going.
Thank you for letting us know. Malo? All right.
Carmelo Rodriguez Jr., 600 East Street Place of Business. And I will say that the Brea Latino Coalition has received a lot of complaints from the elderly, so it's something to consider. Take notes. They do have a lot of apartments, issue with the apartment, especially a lot of the Latinos that live in that area. But today I'm here just to, I noticed that we have here on the resolution, there will be appointments chief of the police as the Brea Latino Coalition leader in this community. I just want to say that I'm here asking the council to have consideration acting Chief Murphy as a permanent chief. Why? For the last 20 years, he has dedicated his life. He has put himself at risk for this community. For over 20 years, the city has invested thousands of dollars in training for him to be the officer that we have now. I know they have ears and they don't listen to the community. For the first time I was stunned, I said, Yo no sé. So today I stand here for our community because of the passion that I have, for the love that I have for the police department, which for a long time I've been able to work with them. And to consider what the community, not what Carmelo only saying, but what the community wants, that we came together. You know it, the mayor knows it, and let's give the community what they want, the best. And the best is having Acting Chief Murphy as our police chief.
Speakers talked about. The homeless situation is, I think, something that needs to become a priority more than we do. And I don't see much in our budget for the homeless. So I totally agree with, we need to allocate more money to the Friendship Center. And I don't understand why they were rejected, according to the speaker. We definitely need, and I've submitted several petitions about the homeless. The second one with the Mount Pleasant and the housing authorities, I think since the pandemic, especially there was at least 2 other chief of police come, and they were all deputies. They worked their way up, and so I think there's no reason why we shouldn't also vote and accept Officer Murphy, even if his name is not into. He's very good with communicating with the community, and we need that really now. We really need him, and he's the most qualified. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Now, just real quick clarification, Chief Wardwell was not a deputy.
install additional stop signs throughout the street.
We'll send that to the Police Commission, please.
Okay. The second one is from Alderpersons Rutkowski and Hargraves for the appropriate departments to conduct a study on Stanley Street from 784 Stanley Street to 846 Stanley Street to investigate off-street parking and on-street overflow parking on lots that appear to exceed the maximum allowable parking limit.
By Police Commission.
Sorry about that, Your Honor. Number three, from Alderpersons Thompson, Catanzaro, and Costa, for the appropriate departments to install an advanced turn arrow on Paul Manafort Drive.
Senior. Just wanted to clip senior. Refer that to DPW.
Okay. Petitions 4 through 21 are submitted by Alderman Smedley at the request of Jack Benjamin and City Planner Jeff Cormier to amend the official zoning map and change the appropriate zoning ordinances for that map.
So we're going to send all of these to the City Plan and the Zoning Committee for discussion. They will have to be taken up individually at the committee, just a FYI.
Great. Thank you, Your Honor. Number 22, from Alderman Ayalon, for the appropriate departments to provide written responses to the attached 15 petitions previously submitted.
I'll handle this. We'll send it to the mayor's office.
Number 23, from Alderman Ayalon, for the appropriate departments to provide a response to the following: 494 South Main Street to investigate off-street parking and on-street parking in this area.
By Police Commission.
Great. And that's it, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. Alderman Smedley will move on to the consent agenda this evening.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept the consent agenda of item A.
Is there a second? Seconded by Alderman Malinowski.
Malinowski. Ortiz Luna. Pabon. Russell. Rutkowski.
Yes.
Sanchez. Skirpo. Sagara. Smedley.
Yes.
14-0, Your Honor.
All right. Motion carries. Resolution number 1 this evening. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt item number 1.
I have a second by Alderman Dyson.
Thank you, Your Honor. According to our city's charter, appointment of department heads and all department heads shall be appointed by and subject to authority of the mayor following the consent of the common council. Whereas the position of police chief is currently vacant and an examination consisting of an oral examination administered by a panel of current and former police chiefs from Connecticut for the position of chief of police was given on April 10th, and a community forum was held on April 17th with the candidates who received a passing score from said oral panel and were able to address the public. The mayor recently interviewed the successful candidate for the position of chief of police, and the mayor has selected Matthew Marino for the position of chief of police following the search, testing process, community forum, and interview. Captain Marino is graduating in May 2023 with a MS in criminal justice, holds a BA English graduate from the 140th long resident, a local elected leader on the Board of Education, and community volunteer to organizations such as New Britain Little League and the New Britain Police Athletic League. Captain Marino has been a police officer with the New Britain Police Department since 2008, rising through the ranks of patrol officer, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and now, therefore, it be resolved that the Common Council consents to the mayor's selection of Matthew Marino as chief of police for the city of New Britain, and I do urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman. Thank you, Alderman Smedley. Would any alderperson like to say anything about this item? Alderman Catanzaro.
Thank you, Your Honor. I rise in opposition to this appointment. I want to just say it's nothing personal against the captain. He's a great man and nothing against the mayor. My connection with the police department goes back 50 years when they started with the Civil Defense Rescue Squad in 1974, and then continued in 1978 when I was one of the first employees of New Britain EMS. Then in the 80s, I became an auxiliary police officer. Again, I have nothing bad to say about anybody. This is just something that I kind of, not against the cap. We're all going to be here to help them. He's been there a long time. He's very smart. So I, have no doubt that he's going to do a great job. So I just wanted to explain why my vote is the way it is. And
Speak on the item. Alderwoman Ortiz.
Thank you, Your Honor. I had to write this down just because it's a very touchy resolution. And I want Captain Marino and the community to know the reason why I'm voting the way I'm voting today. It's not because I don't like Captain Marino or because I don't think he could be a great chief of police. He is well liked by the community and also myself. And if he is voted in tonight, I will accept it and I will work with him in the best interest, for the best interest of our city. With that being said, I am voting a no tonight because the community was a part of this process and the community wants Acting Chief Ben Murphy. I received a lot of support for Acting Chief Murphy from many residents. I have to side again with the community on this one. This has been a long and hard process, not only for me, but for all of us. Just like on other previous issues, the community.
I didn't really understand the process by which, selecting a police chief happened, and I learned a lot in this process. And I'm grateful that Mayor Stewart was inclusive about it. Having a community forum wasn't something that we had to do. It was something, a lot of community involvement. And I think what that community forum did and what it showed me was not just that people care about a particular candidate, but people care about policing. And with all of the adversity that we've seen and some of the negative stories that have been shared about policing in the last several years, I think there's a testament to the police department in New Britain that so many people came out to support who the next leader would be. And the opinions on that were passionate and varied. And I appreciate that every single one of them have power to me all the time because I do make them personal. I'm not supposed to do that.
Don't yell.
And it's hard not to. But I care deeply about this process. I care deeply about this community. I'm inspired by everybody's support of the New Britain Police Department and by everybody's commitment and engagement in this process. I hope we continue to be committed and engaged in all of the things that we participate in that are a little uncomfortable at times, but particularly this. I also want to thank Acting Chief Ben Murphy. He has led over the last several weeks and months with grace and integrity under an incredible amount of scrutiny. Of course he would. He's applying for this job, and so there's a microscope on him, Marino being appointed. So I appreciate his leadership, and I look forward to his commitment, his continued commitment to the New Britain Police Department hometown kid. His training and education are important for sure. Anybody's would be. His experience is important. But when you're looking at comparable candidates, there are small they've leadership. So thank you all.
Thank you, Alderwoman Costa. Alderman Ayalon.
Thank you, Your Honor. That there is an overwhelming support for Officer Murphy to become the next police chief. So my vote would be against this, not because I have anything against Marino, but I think the public deserves the best. And I want to remind my colleagues here that you were voted by the people and you report to the people. So let's do the right thing for the community and wait for the submission of Deputy Chief.
Rutkowski.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll make a motion to accept and adopt item number 2.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Smedley.
To Her Honor, the Mayor and the Common Council of the City of New Britain. The undersigned beg leave to recommend and adopt the following. It is important to celebrate Poland by raising the Polish flag to show the value of Polish heritage as part of the American culture. By raising the first Poles who settled and arrived at Jamestown, Virginia in 1608 for their ability to produce glass and tar. Then, Those like General Tadeusz Kościuszko and General Kazimierz Pulaski, who fought in America's freedom during the American Revolutionary War, and whereas millions of Poles also immigrated later and worked hard to build America, including Zbigniew Brzezinski, U.S. National Security Advisor, Stephen Wozniak, created and developed Apple I and Apple II computers, and James Pawelczyk and Scott Edwards Bojanowski, first Polish-American astronauts. And whereas the red on the flag represents courage, self-sacrifice, struggles for freedom, and the white, peace and purity. The flag is for our symbol of our heritage, the neighbors of Polish descent, by attending the flag-raising ceremony on May 2nd, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. at Central Park, and commemorating the signing of the Polish Constitution on May 3rd. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you,
And
Alderman.
I encourage adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Rutkowski, and your alderperson wish to speak on this resolution. I believe Alderman Malinowski was going to reread it in Polish.
Yes, please.
Your Honor, I move to accept resolution number 3.
Seconded by Alderwoman
And let
Costa.
me read the Arbor Day. Whereas since 1872, Arbor Day has been a day, whereas since 1872, Arbor Day has been an occasion for recognizing the value of trees and woodlands to human welfare, and whereas resolved that the Common Council of the City of New Britain proclaim April 28 as Arbor Day and encourage all individuals to support effort to protect our trees and woodland, and be it further resolved that all citizens be encouraged to plant a tree to promote the well-being of this and future generations. Notice of the situation in New Britain that really the tree canopy is shrinking, especially, we had a lot of trees lost in storms and in cutting to prevent electricity loss, as well as we have a lot of development that incorporate also cutting trees. So, we're losing a lot of trees, but we don't have a comprehensive plan of replenishing it. And we also notice in the city of New involving the whole community and city workers that worked on this for a year to develop a city plan. I'll be glad to, if you can pass it from the beginning there and to the end for the city members. So we really need a vision. We need a plan for all the trees to replenish and have trees that are protected, that they're they're legacy trees, and to have a plan, and then put it in the budget. Put when we take bonds, we have let's put that as a
Speeding and aggressive driving, especially in areas with high population, high traffic volumes, and roadways with low posted speed limits. And I thought I had done this last meeting, but last meeting was similar, but for distracted practices. This is different. This is for increased enforcement, for reducing speed and aggressive driving, and I urge adoption.
Thank you, Alderman Dyson. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comments on these changes? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alderman Hargraves, item 6.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept and adopt resolution number 6.
Seconded by Alderwoman Sanchez.
This resolution is for summer transportation for the camps for our Parks and Recreation Department. Bidders sent out to 9 vendors and 2 bus companies replied. One of the companies was in New Britain. They were a little higher. They had a chance to match. They chose not to. So therefore, we would like to award the contract to Autumn Transportation of Rocky Hill at a rate of $220 per bus and $65 per hour for any additional buses. And I urge adoption.
Thank you.
On Planning, Zoning, and Housing.
I have a second by Alderman Malinowski.
Thank you. This is a lease agreement with Exclusive Development LLC for 12 unassigned parking spaces at the Arch Street parking lot for $30 per month. And I do urge referral.
Thank you, Alderman Smedley. Any other questions or comments on the referral? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. For the record, Alderman Segarra opposed. Alderman Smedley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to accept item number 8 and refer to the Committee on Planning, Zoning, and Housing
Second.
at a monthly rate of $35 per vehicle.
Thank you. Any opposed? for the record. Alderman Sagara, motion carries. Last item on the agenda tonight is Alderman.
City yard building improvements that can be transferred for this project. The city yard is now constructing a new facility and would have no need for these low SIP funds. So we are requesting the state of Connecticut reduce the funding for the city yard improvements by $275,000 and increase the city hall upgrade funding by $275,000. And I urge adoption.
Thank you. So a little bit of information here. So this is because the city hall upgrades, the windows came in a lot more expensive than what we thought. However, though, the good news is that we don't need as much money in the bond for, well, we have the money that we need to cover the full cost of the Public Works yard, which this body had also allocated additional resources to for city yard building improvements. So we are able to cover, we don't need that money anymore, but we need new windows here. So John Delgadillo would really appreciate the extra money to fix the windows, as would everybody that works here.
And we were looking for another location for the food share truck to come and coming from all over. And there are several sites in the city which I really wasn't aware of. They go all over the city. And there might be another site that we discussed at our HRA board meeting, Spotswood Church. I really want to thank Alderwoman Costa and of course Father and the Archdiocese for making this happen. There's a lot. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, Alderman.
Motion to adjourn.
Made by Alderman Smedley, seconded by Alderman Hargreaves. All those in favor, say aye.